NASCAR has reached a decision on the RFK penalty, and Kevin Harvick shuts down retirement questions. Let's talk about it. Coming up next. What is going on, everybody? Happy Friday to you. If I haven't earned your subscription, hopefully today is the day I will earn that subscription. All right, Martinsville Xfinity Race Eve. I will be there wearing something probably similar to this, if not exactly this. If it's not this, it'll probably be a Josh Berry t-shirt. But if you're out there, feel free to come up and say what's up. All right, NASCAR has reached its decision in the RFK matter, so let's take a look at it. The sanctioning body has made its final decision about the L2 level penalties issued to RFK Racing. A three-person panel heard the Cup Series team's appeal on April 7th and decided to uphold the original penalties. NASCAR issued a press conference on April 7th and announced the decision of the appeals panel. Mr. Dixon Johnson, Mr. Bill Mullis, and Dale Pinellas listened to testimony from RFK Racing regarding penalties that ensued following the trip to Atlanta Motor Speedway. The panel determined that the team did indeed violate sections 14.1 and 14.5 of the NASCAR rulebook, which both address modification of a single source supplied part. RFK will move forward with the loss of 100 owner points, 10 playoff points, 100 driver points, which dropped Brad Keselowski outside of the top 30 in the championship standings. Crew chief Matt McCall will miss the races at Martinsville, Bristol, while finishing out his 4-race suspension. He will also have to pay a $100,000 fine. Roush said it will move forward with the fine and they will not take any further action to appeal it. But this is interesting because it comes on the heels of Cliff Daniels, Kyle Larson's crew chief, saying that some of these penalties, like for instance the tire guns being part of the problem as to why these tires are coming off, because logically why would the teams want to leave a loose lug nut on the car? He said some of these penalties are too stiff. He basically has criticized NASCAR's penalties. So I think it's sort of starting to come to a boiling point with some of these teams at the level of these penalties that are being handed down. Obviously, this is a completely different situation. And furthermore, NASCAR, Jeff Gluck actually tweeted out, NASCAR needs to, now that this is over with and it's not going to be appealed, NASCAR needs to be transparent as to what part was modified and what was done to it, so other teams in the future will know what they can and cannot do. So even though NASCAR's penalty is upheld, there has been some criticism of the heavy penalties so far this season. For those of you waiting for Kevin Harvick to retire, not so fast, my friend. He is not ready for that rocking chair yet. He came out and said, the driver of the number 4 Stewart-Haas Racing Ford Mustang has no plans on calling it quits anytime soon. Kevin Harvick has shut down questions about whether he will retire after the 2022 Cup season instead of finishing out his contract that lasts through 2023. The closer provided the news in a pre-Martinsville release from Stewart-Haas Racing. He explained that there are multiple factors that make him want to continue suiting up for races in the Cup Series. Chief among them was the opportunity to continue working with great people. I like where I race. I like Stewart-Haas Racing. I like the atmosphere. I like the people here. That's really the biggest reason that I like to do it, especially this year. You're with a group of people where you're constantly problem solving. You're trying to fix it faster than everybody else and come to something that is better than everybody else so you can win races. So it looks like Kevin Harvick is a long way from being done, and I think the only reason people are talking about him being done is his age, because it certainly isn't the performance. Even though he didn't win last year, he led that Stewart-Haas organization as far as points. Now, I know Eric Almirola won a race, but Kevin Harvick was consistently the best car in a down, let's just be honest, a down year for Stewart-Haas Racing. And this year, in an up year, he has been, however you want to argue it, he has still been the best car. He's at least been the most consistent. Because even though Chase Briscoe has won, and I think Chase Briscoe has an immense amount of talent, I think Kevin Harvick's been the more consistent car, even though he hasn't necessarily been the fastest out of that group every race. And that whole group has turned around, except for the bad luck that Cole Custer continues to suffer. So I think all in all, it's a good look, and I think if it wasn't for his age, people wouldn't even be talking about him retiring, because he is still running lights out. So don't get ready for the junkyard or the rocking chair or whatever, however that George Jones line went. Yeah, he's not ready to retire yet. I'm not ready for the junkyard yet. I still feel like a new Corvette. Had to Google it and look it up. But yeah, that was the line. All right, guys, that is all I've got for you today. Like I said, I'll be at Martinsville. If you see me, come holler at me. And other than that, if you got a comment, leave it down in the comment section. If you like the content, made it this far, feel free to subscribe down below. And other than that, thanks for your time. Peace.